captains Jairzinho and Lewis Dunk meeting in the centre circle. Graham Potter casting his eye over the Portuguese sunshine. A look at the lineups for both sides, starting with Estoril prior. Little is known about the structure or setup of Estoril under recently appointed coach Nelson Verissimo. Their summer has seen plenty of squad overhaul, although last season's top scorer Andre Franco does feature in today's 11. The pre-season lineup roulette spins again for Graham Potter as Sanchez, McAllister, Caicedo and Trossard all come into the side after returning from international duties. Dunk, Cucurella and March keep their place from the Union St. Geloy fixture, while we see youngster Evan Ferguson. We could see youngster Evan Ferguson in the second half. So Neil Maupay to get us underway for the Albion. Backwards it goes to Lewis Dunk, and a long diagonal will start this one off. Estevez intercepts that. Twisting and turning on this near side is Trossard. Cucurella. Trossard still down on this near side. Solly March with the ball now. Recycles possession back to Dunk. It doesn't look like the Albion skipper has spotted Trossard down yet, or maybe he has, and he'll just pause play to check on his status. And it's 1-0 Albion just like that. So for the second time in the last 3 minutes, we'll kick off again here in Estoril. Trossard back on his feet and moving down on this near left-hand side. Dunk. To Sanchez. And Albion with the luxury of that one-goal lead so early on in this game probably changes the game plan slightly for Graham Potter, even if it is a pre-season fixture. Here's Danny Welbeck. One back though by the Magicos, Estoril prior. Maupay jumps into a challenge. Arthur Gomez comes out on top. Here's Gonçalo Estevez. Man on loan from Sporting Lisbon for Estoril. Advantage played for the Albion. Threaded in behind, turning and shooting. Here's Pascal Gross, but he couldn't find his mark from close range. It's a good ball threaded through to him. And it just ran the wrong side of Pascal Gross, who couldn't turn and shoot from inside the area. Probably had a little bit more time than he first perceived. Brilliant start for Graham Potter's side. Spoke last week, Graham Potter, about the difficulties of having such a large group in pre-season can often lead to players feeling neglected if they're not quite as involved, but he's actually said this is the most manageable he's ever found, such a large group. He's described the mood in the camp as very positive, carrying over into this trip to Portugal. Here's Solly March, right wing, those lime green boots taking on the skipper Jairzinho, curling one towards Welbeck, cleared away by Estevez at the back post. And the Albion have won a throw deep inside opposition territory. March will take over to Mopé. Sent back towards March in the corner. Can he deliver? Instead just hesitates. Another cross comes in from that right wing. Again, Estevez is the man involved to head it away, but Cucurella will try and keep it alive. Reigning Albion player of the season, of course, Marc Cucurella. He's involved in a tangle with Artur Gomez, though. I think that one will go the way of the Albion. Dunk again. Rolled into Caicedo. Pocket of space in the middle for Caicedo. The Albion choose instead to go backwards to Rob Sanchez, the Spaniard. One of those international players that rejoined Graham Potter's squad for this pre-season fixture, as we see head coach Nelson Verissimo there on the sidelines here in Estoril. Recently appointed, only 2nd of July was Nelson Verissimo announced as the Magicos head coach. Hasn't had long to work with this side. Here's Trossard. Albion content to let Estoril do the running in the heat in Portugal. Cucurella looking forward early. Trossard will hunt that one down, but Estevez, again, the man to win the ball back for the yellow shirts of Estoril. Welbeck. Inside it goes to Gross. Good football here from the Albion. Mopé to Caicedo, forced backwards momentarily. Cucurella has come inside to pick it up. Trossard working on that right foot, and he wanted the 1-2 with Mopé, but couldn't get it back where he wanted it to. Leo Trossard coming off the back of a brilliant season. He spoke to my Albion TV last week, said he wants even more from next season. Said his own personal aim is at least the same in terms of league positioning for the Albion. They did, of course, finish 9th in the Premier League last season. Header won by Dunk. Head tennis between him and Cucurella. An intelligent play from Cucurella to find Rob Sanchez, his compatriot. Sanchez clears under pressure, but it's not convincing, and Franco might line one up from range here, but skies it over the bar. It's really the first time Francisco Giraldez has had the opportunity to have a sight at goal. Anyone in yellow, really. Trossard switches on to Solly March, and he spotted March on that far right-hand side. Just flicked up into March's hand, though. An apologetic hand raised by March. Ball just held up a little bit on the way over to him. Slightly rushed as he tried to bring it down. Welbeck backing in against Vital. Referee's whistle stays in his pocket. Welbeck on the right-hand side. Caicedo makes a darting run inward, almost finds him, if not for the intervention of Estoril. Now Veltman's going back towards his own goal, but the referee's waved up for a late challenge in there somewhere. So first free kick of the game for Estoril Praia. Just shy of the halfway line. And they'll choose themselves just to go backwards as the Albion squeeze up the pitch. Mopé. Trossard to his left. Gross inside of him. Instead finds Welbeck to Caicedo. One touch football from the Albion. Here's March again. Looking for the byline. Looking for a cross. It's sneaked across that near post and played behind. Albion corner kick coming up. Jairzinho tasked with organising his side here. The skipper, the 33-year-old. It was good running again from Solly March. He seems to think he's got Jairzinho's number. Dani Figueira, the young Portuguese keeper, organising his back line. March to whip in an in-swinger. Welbeck, Dunk, Mopé, all targets in the area. Veltman's joined in late. In it comes from March towards the head of Dunk. Runs through to the back post where Veltman was inches away from getting a touch on it. Referee says another Albion corner kick coming up. Much to Dani Figueira's frustration. Now, who got the first contact on the ball? It looked like it might have come off Welbeck's shoulder. The referee has pointed for another corner kick, and Veltman just couldn't react in time to that deflection. Albion will have the chance to do it all over again, though. Another in-swinger from the Seagulls. Cleared by Estoril, brought down by Cucurella. Round the corner it goes. Again, Solly March twisting and turning. Back to Cucurella, first time delivery towards the back post. Mopé's waiting in the centre. He doubles his tally for the afternoon and doubles the Albion's lead inside 12 minutes. Neil Mopé seems to have hurt himself in the process, but the French striker takes his tally to 2 for this pre-season after tapping home from close range. Cucurella's first-time delivery was a brilliant one. It was headed back across the area by Dunk, and then Mopé launched himself at the ball, getting a couple of studs to his finger in the process. He's receiving treatment. Estoril Praia, a little bit at 6s and 7s to start this game. It was new signing Pedro Alvaro that was trying to prevent Mopé from getting to that one. But a brilliant start for the Albion, who look incredibly sharp, given how early it is in this pre-season. 2-0 already. Jairzinho driving forward. Slid down the touchline. Estoril's first foray into Albion territory. Crossed towards the penalty area. Cleared out only as far as Franco, who tried a volley. Didn't connect, and now Dunk can hook away up to Welbeck, and the Albion could counter-attack here through Solly March. March wants to switch out to Trossard. Trossard will have work to do to get on the end of this one, but get on it he does. Slowed down momentarily. Mopé making his way back onto the pitch. Here he is. Scorer of 2 goals already. Mopé to the byline. Across it goes and cleared behind by Pedro Alvaro. Albion look really hungry for goals here in this one. No sense of pre-season cobwebs from Graham Potter's side. Still Mopé clutches that left hand though. Another Albion corner kick from this left-hand side. Arm raised by Pascal Gross. Curled in towards the back post, headed away by Estoril. Taken down on the chest. As Albion win another free kick. Veltman that time with the good work on the right-hand side. McAllister to Veltman. Mopé again trying to influence things from out wide. But Caicedo's given away a free kick. João Carlos wanting to take that one quickly. The two doing battle, but João Carlos certainly with the larger frame compared to Moises Caicedo and comes out on top. Here's Estevez, heavy touch, but he keeps it regardless. Artur Gomez to Estevez, those two trying to link up on this right wing. That's been the story in the opening 15 minutes, if you're just joining us. Albion have looked like scoring every time they've come forward. Estoril haven't really been able to get a foothold in this game. Sanchez. Cucurella. Caicedo, the Ecuadorian, tries a rather ambitious turn, 35 yards from his own goal, but keeps it regardless. McAllister looking for the diagonal ball. Welbeck's made a good run in behind. Will it hold up for the Englishman? And cleared away by Figueira. Good run from Danny Welbeck in between the centre-backs. Still possesses that turn of pace. That might not be the quickest over longer distances anymore. But is able just to shift into that gear quickly and drive beyond defenders. Movement which has seen him continue to be successful in the Premier League. Dunk. To Cucurella, who, like Rob Sanchez, made just the one appearance for the Spanish senior national team. Again, looking for that long ball out to Solly March. Albion's wing-backs really causing problems for Estoril Prior. Shape stretching the pitch so wide, creating space for those in the middle. Dunk careering forward from the back line. Caicedo, there's that ball again to Solly March. Seagulls put the pressure on Figueira, he clears away, and once again Lewis Dunk's there to pick it up. Always seems to be in the right place, Lewis Dunk. Man that's made over 350 appearances for Brighton Hove Albion. Stated at the end of last season that He wants to retire at the Amex as Welbeck looks to tow his way past Alvaro, but the young centre-back recovers well. Space for Trossard. Looks just for that clever clipped ball into Mopé, read well by Estevez. Artur Gomez will lead the break. He's hustled and harried by those crimson shirts. Caicedo. Here's Mopé. He'll run at Alvaro again, round the corner. Leo Trossard, squared back, Mopé! He was looking for a hat-trick inside the first 20 minutes of this fixture, but Danny Figueira gets down to prevent it. What a start to this game that would have been for Neal Mopé. If he hasn't already had an excellent start, it was brilliant combination play to release Leo Trossard. The cutback found Mopé. Figueira able to scoop it up though. Welbeck drives that one out of play. Apologies if you missed the opening 2 goals of this one. Suffering with some technical difficulties here. We do now believe we are back on course to bring you the rest of this game in its entirety. Throwing Estoril Prior on that left-hand side. Xiaozinho stood next to coach Nelson Verissimo. As I mentioned, only hired on July 2nd, hasn't had much time to work with this group of players. Previously was the caretaker manager at Benfica, where he oversaw that Champions League run. Played a large part in the development of Darwin Núñez, the new Liverpool striker. Cucurella picks up a loose ball in midfield. Space here for the Spanish wing-back. Out to Trossard. He wants to shoot, just crowded out by yellow shirts. Finds McAllister, who does line one up from range. And it bounced awkwardly in front of Figueira, but thankfully for the goalkeeper, it also bounced past the post. First time we've really said Alexis McAllister's name this afternoon. It almost ended with a goal. Estevez, the man on loan from Sporting Lisbon. Dinked over the top where Franco will give chase, and a mistake from Rob Sanchez. And in and scoring for Estoril Prior. It's Francisco Giraldes, I believe, that got on the end of that one. In fact, it's the new signing Rodrigo Martins that takes advantage of Rob Sanchez's mistake. Not a moment Rob Sanchez will want to relive. Just bounced awkwardly in front of him, and Martins had made the run beyond. He'd gambled on the mistake, and he picks it up, and he marks his first appearance for Estoril Prior with a goal. The Portuguese side have one back. Sanchez looks long, looking to put that slight error behind him. Good response from the Magicos as they try and drag themselves back in this one. Figueira into the centre circle. Dunk battling with Carlos. Rodrigo Martins makes a run to the left. Into Franco it goes. He's twisting and turning at the edge of the 18-yard box. Chip towards João Carlos. Dunk heads away, still not cleared properly from the Albion, although they will get a free kick. As Dunk rose to win that ball ahead of João Carlos, he just maybe caught an arm to the face. And João Carlos down receiving attention following that clash with Lewis Dunk. Potentially a clash of heads between those two, because Carlos looks none too comfortable either. Dunk just checking on how he's doing. All in the spirit of pre-season, of course. Get another look at that one. Andre Franco, the man that dinked the ball into the area. It just looked like a honest clash between striker and centre-back. Both jumped for the same ball. Dunk getting a clean head to it first, but then maybe driving his shoulder into the chin of João Carlos. Chance for both sides to get some fluids on board though. 25 minutes gone. A couple of Neil Maupay goals gave Albion the advantage. Rodrigo Martins pulling one back moments ago following a Rob Sanchez mistake. Chance for some added instructions from the Albion coaching staff as well. It really has been the wing backs that have created all the problems for the Seagulls thus far. Estoril's narrow formation not really being able to cope with those overlapping runs from Cucurella and Solly March on the right hand side. As we get confirmation that we will have a water break, such as the nature of playing a fixture in July on the Portuguese coast. The town of Estoril really known for its beaches and its hotels more than its football, but Estoril are trying to make a name for themselves. As we will have a look at those two goals from early on in this game, scored by Neil Maupay. Apologies again if we missed those. The first was just a really poor mistake from Vital, squaring it to Maupay 8 yards from goal, who tucked it past Figueira. The second, a brilliant bit of interplay, headed back across the area, and Maupay, a poacher in the box, threw himself at the ball, hurting himself in the process, but a brilliant first-time delivery from Maupay. Back across the box it went, following the corner. And the French forward headed home for his second. The referee waits to get us back underway. Estevez, one of five new signings, for Estoril Praia, as they look to consolidate their place in the Portuguese First Division. Bit of a yo-yo club historically between the first and second tiers of Portuguese football. Always in the shadow of their near Lisbon neighbours, Sporting and Benfica. Presses on again for Estoril. Maupay leaves the header to Alvaro. Dunk controls on the chest. Rogier. Estevez. Estevez with a confident opening to this game. Wins a free kick for his side there. A few years ago, Gonçalo Estevez featured in the British newspaper The Guardian's list of next generation players to watch. Pretty well respected and storied list, which has gone on to have pretty predictive success for future stars in Europe's top flights. And Estevez, while in Sporting's academy, made that list. Hasn't really kicked on since. João Carlos will battle with Dunk again. Just feel Estoril are growing into this game slightly after they were sucker punched by those two early Mopé goals. Line up a shot here which deflects towards Sanchez, and he reacts well to tip that one away from goal. Close to the body of Robert Sanchez, but took a wicked deflection before it reached him. And he shows off his shot-stopping capabilities there. Fired in and came off Moises Caicedo in the end. Artur Gomez was the man that had the shot. And Sanchez ensures the Albion still have the lead in this one. Corner kick coming up for Estoril Praia. Towards the near post it goes, not the best delivery. March heads away. Franco. Still with Franco, looking to roll it into João Carlos. And Pascal Gross winning a free kick for the Albion. Just turning his man and trying to drive the other way. Rogier hauled him to the turf. Veltman. Cucurella now almost dropping next to Dunk to pick up the ball. Trossard on this left wing. Dunk back to Sanchez. Clever turn from Veltman, but he's given it back to Estoril. Albion throw on the far right-hand side, but things not as plain sailing as they were early on in this game with 15 minutes to go till half-time. Cucurella. Looks for that switch to March. Again, March battles to keep it in play. Just about does so. Joel Veltman. Cucurella again thinks about the ball down the line. He's patient once more from Graham Potter's side. Dunk's diagonal. Finds Solly March. Brilliant first touch from the Sussex-born fullback. March again goes past Jairzinho. Again, the ball flashed across the 6-yard box. This time there's no Neil Mopé to tap home, and it's claimed by Figueira. Solly March with a really positive start to this game. Every time he gets the chance, he's running at Jairzinho. Brilliant play from McAllister to win the ball back. Pascal Gross. McAllister playing quite deep today in the base of that Albion midfield. His switch finds Trossard. Looks for Welbeck early, well intercepted by Alvaro, but Albion back on it. Just like that, Caicedo's released Trossard again on this left-hand side, and getting out of their own box has been a problem for Estoril. Will it punish them again here? Very almost does. A thunderous effort from March off the bar. Still alive with Welbeck. Mopé looking back for Welbeck. Welbeck in. Welbeck no. Saved by Daddy Figueira, who rightfully so has a moan at his back line because they just could not clear their lines there. Multiple opportunities for Albion to ripple the net, the best of which fell to Solly March, but Welbeck almost towing it past Figueira then, who pulled off a smart save. This is the Solly March effort though. What a strike that is. Very almost found the back of the net. Pascal Gross with a corner though. In-swinger from Gross, right into the hands of Figueira. Gross amongst the most creative players in the Premier League last year, in the top 2% for the expected assists statistic. Been absolutely outstanding for the Albion since arriving from Ingolstadt. Line-breaking pass from Estoril finds Rogier. Bundled off the ball by McAllister. Good strength from the Argentinian. Trossard. Mopé. McAllister again. Measured around the area from Brighton Hove Albion. March. Mopé. Caicedo looking for Cucurella, but just didn't have the composure to play the key pass at the right moment. Duncan João Carlos battling again. That's been an engaging storyline of this first half. Martins tries to turn. Advantage played. Here come Estoril again. Franco's got Artur Gomez in the area, chooses not to use him. The Albion can bring it the other way, but the referee wants to stop play because there's a man down, and it is Rodrigo Martins, the goal scorer for Estoril prior. It was a fair challenge by Moises Caicedo, but maybe just caught Martins after he'd gone through the ball. Graham Potter still in conversation. Never one to put too much stock into pre-season fixtures is Graham Potter. Always describes them as more as a fitness exercise than anything. But he is working, starting to develop those patterns of play, those communication links between players. We've seen some of the other stuff that the Albion have got up to this week in pre-season training on the club's social channels. Not all hard work. Bit of tech ball this week, which was won by a pairing of Julio and Ciso, and I think Moises Caicedo. Another look at that first Neil Mopé goal. No one knows quite what Bernardo Vital was thinking there, and here's where the Frenchman doubled his tally for the game. Stealing in front of goalkeeper Figueira. That's Rob Sanchez's moment to forget, which Rodrigo Martins fully took advantage of. Rather iron out those mistakes in pre-season though, both sides making a bit of a clanger of a defensive area thus far. Cucurella. Trossard. Mopé, who's done so well with his back to goal thus far in this one. Welbeck, time for him to turn. Mopé lets it run to Cucurella. Good sliding challenge in there from Gonçalo Esteves. Duncan João Carlos do battle once again, and this time João Carlos comes off the better of the two. Both strong physical players, and I think Lewis Dunk fully aware that he'd arrived a little bit late there. No complaints from the Albion skipper. Ball threaded into the channel. Francisco Geraldez is fired a rather ambitious half cross, half shot from the left-hand side, but seen out for a Rob Sanchez goal kick. Geraldo is one of the experienced heads in this Estoril side, 27 years old. Average squad age of 25 last year for the Magicos. So at 27, one of the senior players in the squad. As João Carlos is back on the deck. Moises Caicedo just there as well, seeing if the forward's okay. Caicedo, who's been growing in confidence at the Albion, and his role's been growing in the side as well. Opened the scoring versus United late last season. Key moment for him. His status is growing internationally as well. 23 appearances now for Ecuador at just 20 years old. Already scored twice for the side. Carlos seems like he might be okay to stay on. We saw a glimpse then of the Estoril bench. And they've taken their seat in the stand, and that's because they've named about 16 or 17 players on the bench for today's fixture, including under 23s. We might see one of those youngsters come on now. The squad numbers and squad personnel all over the place in today's fixture. Just apologies if I'm a little late on any of the Estoril player identifications. It really is a roulette with these pre-season fixtures of who plays and who wears what number, changing seemingly every week. As Trossard rolls one to Mopé, tries the clever turn, almost gets away with it. Estevez takes it back off him. Vital. Dunk. Cucurella to get his head up. Cucurella and Dunk playing very close together in this first half. It was, of course, Cucurella that prevented Lewis Dunk from winning back-to-back Players Player of the Season awards for the Albion. On for a three-peat was the skipper as Solly March tears away down the right side. March again. Gross thinks about the shot. Still going Solly March to McAllister. Good defensive structure from Estoril, though, so far. They're holding firm. March has come out to this left-hand side now. Spins his man Estevez, looking for the byline, looking for a cross. And Estevez recovers well, it has to be said. March wanting a free kick, but just seemed a little hesitant to put that cross in on his left boot. Not long to go till half-time. Still the score 2-1 to the Albion. Goal kick coming up for Danny Figueira. Mopé will press Alvaro. Estoril have to be careful here. And Solly March has won it back. Here's Trossard on that right foot, threaded through to Mopé on a hat-trick. Instead finds Welbeck, but the flag will deny Welbeck a goal in this first half. It was good interplay from the Albion, but I think Mopé initially just a step offside as we tick down towards the half-time whistle. And you see it there. Thought maybe Jairzinho was playing him on the far side, but linesman disagrees, and Welbeck denied his chance to add to the scoring. apologise one more time for any technical difficulties that may have interrupted our broadcast in the first half. We believe everything should be working as planned for you now, and apologies if we missed those opening 2 goals from Neil Maupay as well. A lot goes into transmitting a broadcast from the Portuguese coast over to an English YouTube channel. As Rodrigo Martins runs at Alexis McAllister. Good defending from McAllister. Caicedo, first time to Maupay, again just dropping into that pocket of space and getting his head up. He's got Trossard to his left. Cucurella is also joining in. Looks instead for Danny Welbeck, and it's saved by Figueira. Out to Cucurella. Solly March lines one up, and he only finds the hands of Figueira again. A couple of chances for Welbeck in this first half, a couple for Solly March as well. Figueira's been able to deny them so far. But immediately, the interplay between Maupay and Welbeck looks really strong for so early in pre-season. Two developing a fantastic connection in this game so far. Something Albion fans want to see more of next campaign. Caicedo. Rogier forces him backwards. Trossard going to stand up Estevez again. Brilliant diagonal from Caicedo. Here's Solly March, lofted towards the back post, but all 3 Albion players in the box have darted towards that near post. Caicedo can bring it away as we're into stoppage time at the end of the first half. Trossard on the left. Being given the time to weigh up his options. Cucurella rolled into Gross, but the offside flag halts the Germans' progress up this left flank. Minute and a half gone into stoppage time. There has been a couple of injuries, it has to be said. Trossard went down very early on. Raised a few eyebrows on the Albion bench. He's been back to his feet. João Carlos has gone down for Estoril Praia, so too has Rodrigo Martins. Joãozinho. Veltman putting the pressure on and winning a throw for the Seagulls. But referee unhappy that there was 2 balls on the pitch as Veltman tried to launch that one in. Over the top it goes from Gross to Welbeck. But the offside flag halts his progress again. Not often you see injury time added on so accurately in pre-season friendlies. Normally just blow up the whistle at 45, but doing it properly here today in Estoril. Veltman being forced back to his own goal and being put under pressure from Rodrigo Martins. Good industry and running there from the Portuguese winger. Sanchez can clear away though. Missed kick from Rogier. Here's Gross. And that will do it for the first half of action. Neil Maupay gave the Albion a dream start with 2 goals inside 12 minutes. But then a moment for Robert Sanchez to forget as Rodrigo Martins pulled one back. Your halftime score here in Estoril. Brighton Hove Albion 2, Estoril Praia 1. Here's that first goal as Neil Maupay stole in behind after a real mix-up in the back line with Laurent Rogier just playing the ball right into his path. And Maupay couldn't miss from 8 yards. Cucurella's first-time delivery caused plenty of problems for the second goal, headed back across the area, and Maupay flinging himself at it and making it 2 for the Albion inside the opening quarter of an hour. Brave header from Neil Maupay. This was the moment where Rob Sanchez fluffed his line slightly, ball bouncing awkwardly in front of him, and Rodrigo Martins taking advantage. But better to make those mistakes in pre-season than when we do it all for real in August.
Match day, nothing actually beats being there. The shirts, the scarves, the game of two halves, the smells, the sounds, the why you let it bounce. Goals bottom corner, or in the top bins, unstoppable headers, the last minute wins.
It's the late show again from the Seagulls.
VAR and rules that are real. Team like Robin and Graham's beard. Pascal's turns, massive hair. Big Rob save, Trossard's flair. McAllister's flicks, mobile ticks, Lamptey's tricks.
You just can't get hold of him, can you?
And bicycle kick.
Oh, they've done it!
One of our own, Tony Bloom's Skoda, that guy Welbs, and of course, Jakob Roda.
He's done it again! Neil Mopey!
Match days, you love to see it.
I was born in Madrid, in Spain. Obviously, the plan was to go to Ecuador and live there for a while. That's where the family was. So there was a plan, but because of me, we stayed in Spain. I started playing football there at a very young age, at the age of 7. There's a little place where we used to live called Hortaleza in Spain, in Madrid. It was very tough for me because, you know, I wasn't fully Spanish. I had that Ecuadorian side of me. And back then, with the kids, they never wanted to play with me, so I would just play by myself and my dad. So it was tough growing up in Spain as an immigrant. And after that, obviously we moved to London. Big change for me and my family because we always look back at that, how tough it was at the beginning, and obviously where I was from, which is Camberwell in South London. It was very rough, like stuff going on as well. So yeah, it really matured me as a person as well, like at a young age. It became serious as soon as I moved to London. Yeah, like the parents thought that I could be something, you know, I could be a footballer. And at the time, the Charlton coach had a little misunderstanding with us, and that's when we decided to go to other teams. And Benfica was the first. I went there. The facility was top. The weather obviously was nice in Portugal. No one really expected the move, you know. I had a couple clubs that were lined up, and it was just something not that I just wanted, but for my family as well. The first 2 years were brilliant for me, you know. I was playing at that time with the under 23s and under 18s, but then obviously the last year they preferred other players instead of me, and I just thought that a move would be good, so I didn't renew my contract there. Last year really changed a lot of things. The coach then at the England youth level spoke with me and he said we can't keep calling you if you're not playing and if you're not getting any minutes at your club. So after that, me and my dad spoke, you know, Ecuador has always been there. So as soon as we thought that they would call us, we sat down, we spoke to them, and we kind of set out a plan, which was to obviously break through the first team over there in Ecuador, and that's what's happened. Obviously, both my parents are Ecuadorian. I have Ecuadorian blood in me, most of my family is Ecuadorian, so that made them proud, and that's why one of the reasons that I've changed nationality. Brighton was always there. You know, they wanted me since I was at Charlton, but there was no agreement. And when they saw that I was coming to an end of a contract, they were talking to my dad, and they were really interested, and the plan was there. You know, there was a pathway to the first team, which we spoke about. Straight in when I came in, I literally felt at home. You know, just to have a team that's got that confidence with me. You know, at a young age, breaking through the first team, which is what I've always wanted. You know, I really love that, and I hope it continues that way. But yeah, literally, because all the moving about that I've done, I feel like this is the place for me. It's everyone's dream to make their debut in the Premier League. So I was a bit gutted, you know, the first 10 minutes when I felt the instant pain. I knew I had to come off, but obviously I tried playing through it, see if it would go, you know, to try still be in the game, but it's not always like that. Unfortunately, I had to come off, and other than that, I knew that I was going to come back stronger. When I first came in, I saw that there's not much wingers, but with me, I'm a very versatile player. I can play in the middle as well, not just on the wing. So for me, it was perfect. I can rotate around the middle as an 8 or 10, which that's where the boss has given me the opportunities to play. And yeah, with the players like Alexis and Moises, I really get along well with them. So in the pitch, it just makes it easier, you know, I can link up with them.
Caicedo on the return. Oh, it's stuck in! Moises Caicedo! What an impact he's making at this football club!
I knew him before he came to Brighton. You know, he's been at the biggest club there in Ecuador, which is Independiente. You know, I followed him through, and when he came here and I was coming as well, like, it was really a big thing for me, you know, to have someone there who I can go national team with, spend time with him, and I've also helped him a lot. Obviously, he doesn't have a language, his family are here. We try be his family here in England until they come. To be fair, everything like is for them. I do this for them. You know, they've left a lot of stuff behind to be here with me. Not just my dad, but also my mum, my little sister. We have had to move countries. It's been hard, but you know, as long as they're happy, I'm happy. This decision was the best that I've had so far, and I'm really enjoying my football. My targets this year, I would say, just getting more minutes. You know, trying to impress the boss, the staff, show them that I've got something in me that I can help the team up.
Yeah, had a good 2 weeks there. Got a lot of minutes as well. Scored
Couple of goals, yeah.
2 goals. Yeah, yeah. It was a nice period. Obviously, after a long season, it's nice to catch up with the guys, and I'll be pushing for that starting spot. But obviously, everyone knows what kind of big spot we have and how many good players. So I think I showed myself there last couple of camps, and yeah, the only thing I can do is perform well and here, and if I go there as well. So yeah, we'll see what will happen at the World Cup. I think it was my best run. I think it started around March with the national team as well. Had a good couple of games there, and then I brought that over here as well, and enjoyed every minute of it. And obviously, if you win games, I think everyone performed well, and we were in a really good moment. Finished it off really well with the West Ham game and Man U, and there were so many good performances, and it gives you a lot of hope for this season as well, of course. Yeah, it's always special if you play at those grounds, of course. Liverpool, like say Manchester, and everyone. It's it's always nice to play such a big game, and if you can score as well in front of the cup, it's always it's a really nice feeling. And we didn't start off well the first half, but after the 2-0 we got back, and I think we could even won the game. And it was a special game for us, and there you can see what we are capable of as a team, I think, and that we can win every game, of course. Those are the biggest teams in Europe or even in the world, and it's always a hard time if you play against them, but I think we were capable of a lot. Yeah, it was, I think I did the first time against Brentford at home, and because I asked my son what should I do if I score, and he told me that I had to do that one, and I don't know where he got it from. I think from a movie or something, and that's why I did it, and now I keep going with it until he tells me otherwise. As well, if he doesn't come to watch the game at home, and I'll come at home, the first thing, if he sees me, he does that, and he knows what happened, and it's a nice thing between us, and that's enjoyable. The first time I played there was at the Euros. I started the game against Finland, and obviously then it was a bit new, and had to adapt a lot, but during the season the national team, I played there a couple of times, so I was a bit used to it. And then Graham saw me play there and thought it was maybe a good choice to put me there, and obviously from then on went really well as well. So I enjoy it. Obviously when you play really deep as a wing back, it's a bit tougher, but if I get the space, how we build up and we want to attack, it's enjoyable for me as well to be in that position. Yeah, I think it will be tough. I think we set the standard last year, and I know everyone has high hopes, but obviously it's the Premier League, and where we came from, it was a long way, and I think it was a deserved place for us, I think, last season. But I think everyone should have the ambition to aim high, and then we will see during the season where we can end and aim for.
Welcome back to live coverage of Estoril Praia hosting Brighton Hove Albion on My Albion TV. A couple of changes for the Seagulls to start this second half of action. Alzate and Adam Lallana making their way onto the pitch, and also, notably, Kaoru Mitoma, a player plenty of Albion fans have been excited to see, will get a run out in this second half. 2-1 your score at half-time. Neil Mope at the double before Rodrigo Martins pulled one back. First half started off very one-sided for Brighton and Hove Albion, dominated the opening exchanges. But then in the latter stages of that first half, Estoril began to find a foothold. Kel Sherpen's also taken his place between the sticks for the Albion, I'm told, so the Dutch goalkeeper, who spent most of his time with the under-23s, will test himself in this second half. It will be the Magicos, Estoril Praia, to get us underway. But our fourth official on this near side just Needs a little bit of adjusting of his uniform, and finally we are ready to get this second half started. And we're underway. Back to Rogier it goes. Pedro Alvaro. Ferreira looks for the diagonal. Controlled by the full-back, but blocked behind and blocked away by Solly March. Albion will keep the ball. Thrown into Mope. Lallana's first touch finds Mitoma. Clever outside of the boot, curling ball by Mitoma. Runs out of play. Spent last season with Union Saint-Gilloise, did the Japanese international. Stock has risen and risen. Originally signed for the Albion the summer before last, but went straight out on loan, and now back with this first team group and ready to make an impact. Left-hand side, though, is Rodrigo Martins for Estoril. Clever dummy finds Thiago, but one back by the Albion. Mope feeds Mitoma. Chance for the Japanese youngster to run at the back line. Mitoma's going to strike one, but never really troubling the new keeper for Estoril Praia. Oh, sorry, that's still Danny Figueira for Estoril Praia. Wanted a corner kick, did Mitoma. Cucurella to take a throwing for the Albion on the left-hand side. Man that made one senior appearance for Barcelona. Before departing for Levante, departing for Getafe, sorry. Then ending up with the Albion. Free kick going against Lewis Dunk. Not too happy about that one is the Albion skipper. Just battling with Franco. Taken quickly. Here's Francisco Giraldez. Heavy touch. Lallana spinning in midfield. Alzate. Dunk looking for Solly March. So often the thorn in Estoril's side in that first half. And he's won a corner for the Albion here. Trying to beat Thiago Araujo, the substitute for Estoril. Corner kick from the right-hand side. Pascal Gross, the man to take. Can the Albion match the start to the second half that they had to the first? Right boot of Gross, looking to create something here. Box flooded with yellow shirts. Almost all 11 back defending for Estoril. Gross's corner towards Welbeck instead, headed by Alzate. Almost found its way into the back of the net. Back heel from March looking for Gross again, but Danny Figueira forced into a smart save. Whipped in. I think Dunk was the intended target, but Alzate rose highest to get his head on it. Another chance at this one for the Albion. Smart save from Figueira, who, despite conceding twice early, has had a good game. In swinger this time, Solly March on it. Delivery goes deep towards the back post, but way too deep in the end, and out behind Estoril Prior, goal kick. Coach Nelson Verissimo. His announcement was accompanied by a video of him driving an electric car up to the stadium of Estoril Prior. All new signings were announced by videos of them riding up to the stadium on electric scooters. An interesting club identity. They try and be the greenest club in Portugal. Their new kit is made up entirely of recycled materials. Play clean is the club motto. Nothing too clean about Neil Mopé's opener, though, after a poor mistake at the back from Rogier. Nothing too clean about that pass from Danny Ferreira either. Albion throw deep inside opposition territory. Gross. Veltman goes back to dunk. Good football between Mitoma and Mopé, but out of play for a throw. Looking to take it quickly. Estevez halts that opportunity. Welbeck putting the pressure on Ferreira. One back by the Albion. Here's Mitoma to Mopé. Looking for Welbeck again. Slightly overhits it, and Figueira can scoop up. Just 23 years old and a number 1 for Estoril Prior, or should I say the number 99. Already made over 75 appearances for the club, though. Had a busy afternoon so far. Good touch from Mitoma. Alzate looking to lift it into the path of Cucurella. Throwing Estoril Prior. Down the line into Benchamal. Played off Mitoma. Another Estoril throw, taken quickly, looking over the top. Cucurella is going to see that one out rather comfortably in the end, though. Kel Sherpen to take the goal kick. Gross. Mopé. Albion have worked it out to the left. Here's Cucurella. Mitoma outside of him. Mitoma, first time ball. Not a particularly good one, but offside flag had gone up anyway against the Japanese youngster. Really ripped it up in the Belgian First Division last year. Kaoru Mitoma, 7 goals from wide areas. Alongside Denise Undav, both playing for the Albion sister club. Really felt like new signings when they arrived back with the side in pre-season. As Welbeck puts the pressure on, but only forces a goal kick for Figueira. Nowhere for Estevez to go here as the Albions press on full display. Clever touch. Gets them out of trouble, though. Pedro Alvaro with that. Benchamal working against Cucurella. Slower tempo to this second half thus far compared to what we saw at the start of the first half. Brilliant touch there from Neal Maupay. He's full of confidence in this game, but the pass can't match the turn. And the Magicos are back on it. Figueira clearing under pressure. Veltman to Welbeck. Looks for that flick to Maupay, but I think Maupay knew he was in an offside position. Figueira throws to Rogier. Gross, Maupay looking for March, not cleared properly by Araujo. Welbeck with it. Still Danny Welbeck tries to wiggle his way through the smallest of gaps. Still it's not cleared properly by Estoril. Scrappy bit of play there. March takes a heavy touch. Neither side putting a foot on the ball, and then eventually will halt a rather unattractive bit of play with a free kick to Estoril. It's Thiago Araujo, who got studs on the end of his toe from Solly March. Apologies for any bad language our mics may be picking up. This, of course, a behind closed door fixture, so the noise from the benches and the players not involved is ringing around the stadium. Vital takes. Rogier heads down. Heraldes. Looking into that right-hand channel. Dunk out there to meet Estoril. Cross towards the near post. Deflects behind. Estoril corner. Just their second of the game. Rodrigo Martin's man trying to work his way past Dunk. What can the Portuguese side come up with here from the corner? It's one from the training ground. Heraldes. Dink towards the near post. Rogier tries to flick on, but only flicks behind. The giant Kel Sherpen cuts a striking figure in that Albion goal. If he does end up coming on in the Premier League one day, Kel Sherpen, he will be the joint tallest player to have played in the Premier League's history at 6'9". Only Pantilimon, formerly of City, can match that height. Free kick here for Estoril. March brings the ball out the sky. It's got Gross inside of it. 1-2's on. Gross plays it back, but well read by Vital. And back to Figueira. Albion not quite having the ease of possession they did in that first half. Estoril putting a bit of a sterner challenge, then a really intelligent turn from Heraldes to break the Albion's press. Estevez. Only finds the touchline. Dunk will test the feet of Sherpen. And out of play again for an Estoril Prior throw on the right-hand side. Kel Sherpen signed from Ajax, where he made a couple of appearances in the Champions League. And he'll stay between the sticks, but it seems like just about everyone else in an Albion shirt might make their way off the pitch, as we're going to see a sea of changes. Julio and Ciso, Matt Clark, then Undav, all making their way onto the pitch for Brighton Hove Albion. Jean-Paul Van Heck as well, striding into view. The Albion players who have just made their way off, getting a much needed drink. Heat unbearable in Portugal, you imagine, today. Evan Ferguson, we can also see in the background there, who's come on for the Albion. First summer where he's really been involved with the first team from the outset. The referee just wants to chat with a couple on the technical side of Estoril Prior's bench. Estoril Prior, really a side that grew to notoriety under Marco Silva, now coach of Fulham. Their golden era started in really the 2011-12 season, and they were promoted to the Portuguese First Division under Silva. 2012-13, they finished 5th, and next campaign they finished 4th. So back-to-back Europa League group stage campaigns, which saw draws with the likes of Sevilla and PSV Eindhoven. Never really reached those heights again since the departure of Marco Silva. But he is bringing his Fulham side back to this stadium in a couple weeks' time to take on the Magicos. And we'll see what that new-look Albion attack can do here. Figueira. Headed down cleverly out to this left-hand side. Benchamoul's making a run forward. Rolled into Benchamoul in the area, looking for a cross. Blocked in front of goal by Veltman. Oh, sorry, that's Shane Duffy now on in Veltman's place. Good positioning from Duffy, just to recognise what Benchamoul was trying to do with that cross. As Francisco Giraldez wins another free kick. Andre Franco, he's been drawing eyes from all over Europe this summer. Andre Franco, after his fantastic campaign last year. Here come Estoril on the right-hand side, rolled towards Benchamoul, not cleared convincingly by the Albion. But Alzati's able to scoop it up at the second attempt. Matt Clark. Mitoma. Duffy heads away. Mitoma on that left wing. Rolled forward, crunching challenge. Clears it away for Estoril, and that will leave Sarmiento in a heap. Clutching that right ankle. He's had his injuries problems before, Jeremy Sarmiento. Graham Potter will hope this is nothing too serious. It's a big challenge in there for Estoril. Sarmiento back on his feet though. And after the Albion's swathe of changes, it looks like Estoril will match Graham Potter with their own. Sherpen looking for Evan Ferguson, just out-jumped, clever driven ball wide, and now Julio and Ciso can give chase. And Ciso standing up his man, couple of step-overs to the byline, back across goal and tapped home by Mitoma. Welcome to the Albion, Julio and Ciso and Kaoru Mitoma. First real time seeing these two in Albion shirts, and they combine for a brilliantly worked goal. Such confidence from Enciso cutting in from that right flank, and Mitoma just had to tap it over the line at the back post. He looked like he'd run out of room, but he found the space where none others could see it. And Mitoma has one of the easiest goals he'll probably score in his entire career in this pre-season fixture. (3-1) now to Brighton Hove Albion. Well, anyone that was at that Lancing-based game against Union Saint-Gilloise mentioned the confidence, the positivity of Julio Enciso. And you saw that there. He had options when he got that ball driven out onto the right-hand side, but one-track mind, just wanted to take on his man and work himself towards the byline, and he did so with great success. Duffy does the sensible thing and just heads out of play. Araujo, thrown in field. Here come Estoril on the right-hand side. Those fresh faces looking to create something here, as the Albion players just have done. Franco waiting at the edge, instead driven towards the near post, headed away again by Duffy. Sarmiento escapes one challenge. Lallana. Van Heck. Well worked again from the Albion. But Estoril back on it through Titouan, the man they recently signed from Olympique Lyonnais, highly rated French 20-year-old. Here's Titouan again. Van Heck heads down to Enciso. Alzate. Cross towards the area, and it just evades the toes of Ferguson. Can Mitoma keep it in on that far left-hand side? Matt Clark, Graham Potter's first signing as Albion manager. Confidently strides his way towards the byline, but his cross is blocked. Undav looking for Sarmiento. Estoril need to find an answer if they're going to gain something from this pre-season fixture. Haven't looked like doing so in this second half. Sarmiento, good running from him once again. Mitoma to his left, and Undav ahead of him. Chooses to find Mitoma. Matt Clark. Alzate. Graham Potter's main complaint from that first pre-season fixture was that the communication links, the patterns of play weren't really there with the new crop of players, those returning from loans like Undav, like Mitoma, and those new signings. But it was two of that new crop, if you will, that combined for the Albion's third goal, and certainly with the way the Albion are possessing the ball right now, those communication links seem to have improved. Enciso could be in behind again. Still going, Julio Enciso. Breaks one challenge, but can't break another. And Estoril clear away. Clark goes back to Sherpen. Van Heck. Undav. What does he have in the locker? He's looked for a diagonal to his former Saint-Gilloise teammate Mitoma, but driven out of play. Ferguson daring Estoril to play that long ball forward. They fell into the trap, and the powerful Duffy wins it back. Sarmiento, brilliant feet again. Just a little bit too much from Sarmiento in the end, and the Estoril youngsters will come the other way. As I mentioned, about 16 or 17 players named on the Estoril bench. Changed virtually this entire 11 to under 23s players. Benchamoul loses out to Lallana. Ferguson. Sarmiento just dummies his way past the challenge, looking for Enciso. Can he keep it in? Yes is the answer. We'll run it Araujo again. Van Heck. Clark. Mitoma. Space here for Mitoma. Round the corner to Undav. Albion confident in possession. Enciso's waiting, but Undav looks back for Lallana, and it's intercepted by Estoril, and then Clark lunges into a challenge on Benchamoul. Matt Clark, curiously, was once involved in a swap deal for his now Albion teammate, Adam Webster. Clark was at Ipswich, Webster at Portsmouth. The two clubs agreed a swap deal, and now they both ended up at Brighton Hove Albion. Really is a year for Matt Clark to try and prove himself. Has won the Player of the Season award in 3 of his last 4 playing seasons. One with Portsmouth, one with Derby County, one with West Brom. Popular at every club he goes to, but hasn't really found his feet under the man that signed him, Graham Potter. Talking of finding his feet, Evan Ferguson's done exactly that last campaign with the under-23s. Now the challenge for him is a different one to Clark. It's settling in with the first team. Mitoma can't pull that one into his grasp. Takes the throw to Undav, though. Back to Mitoma. Space on the right, if the Albion can work it out this way. Enciso. Van Heck. Clark. That first 5 minutes or so with the new crop of players after the 60th minute changes was a little bit chaotic for the Albion, but since then they've settled into full swing. And Estoril really can't get near them at the moment. Lallana again. And Enciso looking for Ferguson. Albion back on it with Clark, still as a 3 at the back. Alzati and Lallana playing just in front of that back 3. Looks like Sarmiento and Mitoma are playing wing-back roles. Ferguson and Undav up front. Here's a run forward from Enciso again. Will the ball bounce into his path? Figuera can scoop it up, but Albion still favouring that wing-back system, the same one they played against Union Saint-Gilloise, the same one that Graham Potter went with for much of last season. Time and space for Shane Duffy. Really restarted his Albion career with that loan spell to Celtic. Enciso, Sarmiento, back to Enciso. Just got in 2 minds of what to do with the ball then. Undav picks it back up. Sarmiento. Still going, Sarmiento. Surely his shirt's been pulled, but he's driven into the area and he's forced a smart save at the near post from Figueira. You thought the tug on the shirt might slow Jeremy Sarmiento down, but continued to drive towards goal and fired a shot towards the near post of Figueira. Almost beat the goalkeeper. Forces an Albion corner. Clearly fouled here, Sarmiento, but nothing was going to slow him down. His Premier League debut ended in heartbreak with an early injury, but he's bounced back superbly. Picked up the Young Player of the Year last year for the Albion. Here's another player that's looking to impress as a youngster, Van Heck. Blackburn's Player of the Year last year. Quarter of an hour left to play, 3-1 Albion. A brace from Neil Mopé and a first Albion goal for Mitoma, the difference. Benchamo, out jumped by Van Heck. Throwing coming up. Achuri to take. Back to Araujo. Vital. Tituan controls. Feltes. Araujo again. Van Heck just gets beaten. And Achuri's bringing it forward. Clark cleans up. Strength from Sarmiento and good feet to match. Forward to Undav. He just can't quite make it stick, but he has won a free kick. Undav gave a very honest and blunt assessment of his first Albion performance last week against St. Gilloy. Basically said he wasn't good enough and he wasn't happy with his performance, despite it only being a pre-season fixture. Was quite frustrated at the way he played, but has a chance to amend that here. Alzati gives it away. Sarmiento stops and goes. Such a confident 20 or so minutes from Jeremy Sarmiento. Just looks like he's having fun out there. Enciso skips over a challenge from Vital. He's clattered on his way through by Bernardo Vital. Frustration boiling over with these Estoril Praia youngsters, but they're incredibly proud of their youngsters, Estoril Praia. Under 23 side, very similar to the development team at the Albion, won 4 trophies this year in the Portuguese development system, where they have leagues and cups, a little different to the Premier League 2 we have over here in the UK. 4 trophies to their name, most recently the Revelation Cup, where they beat Benfica's under 23s, 3-0 in the final. Here's Mitoma, though, breaking in for the Albion. Offside flag will deny him the chance at a second goal. Really is just the offside flag that's prevented the Albion from scoring more in this game, but Estoril Praia, despite a competitive end to the first half and a competitive start to the second half, haven't proved too much resistance for the Seagulls. Figueira under heavy pressure, forced to clear out of play, and Sarmiento will have a throw for the Albion. He's been so busy this afternoon, Danny Figueira, both with his hands and his feet, and had to clear the ball out of trouble there. Portuguese under 20 international. Van Heck. Lallana. Duffy drives a cultured ball through midfield with the outside of his right boot. Diagonal looks for Sarmiento. Seen back to Figueira. Albion looking to press, but also look a little bit short of energy here as the second half wears on. Just 10 minutes left to go. Good little spell of possession for Estoril Praia here. Club that really feels it's moving in the right direction. They have a fantastic reputation for producing top talent. Diego Carlos of Aston Villa started his career with Estoril, and more recently Chiquinho was sold directly to Wolves. It's really their sporting director Pedro Alvarez's vision to find players early, to find them first amidst competition from their Lisbon neighbours, Sporting and Benfica. Andre Franco, the midfielder, the latest starlet to catch the eye. They pinched him from Sporting Lisbon's academy. He's getting interest from Spain and Italy. And here Estoril come on the right-hand side. Duffy with defending to do. Rolled into midfield. Shots deflected over. Coming in the end off Adam Lallana. Kel Sherpa didn't have a save to make. It was good work there again from Estoril Praia. The Magicos starting to find their feet. João Oliveira that time creating the chance. Outswinging corner kick, headed over by Feltes. First Estoril chance for some time. That Oliveira shot deflected away, and that Feltes header from the corner. Sherpa not really with a save to make since coming on. And Dav playing just off that forward line. Duffy to Clark. Ferguson holds it up well and finds Mitoma. And Dav's making the run forward. Mitoma looks for him. Intercepted. And then Mitoma's frustration boils over into giving away a free kick. Van Heck has a bit of a challenge as it's flicked over his head, but goes back to Sherpan, and Sherpan coolly plays it back to his compatriot Van Heck. Given away by Enciso though. Last 10 minutes or so have felt a little bit more like a pre-season friendly than perhaps the start of this game. Given away by Feltes, and Dav's back on it. Out to Mitoma, just a yard off the pace right now. Those Albion forwards. Lallana's clever turn might springboard the Seagulls the other way. Here's Mitoma again. Adam Lallana, so often the cool head in Albion's midfield, captain the side in the absence of Dunk a couple of times last season. An international with England, England's Player of the Year in 2016 after his performances for the national side. Champions League winner, Club World Cup winner, Super Cup winner, Europa League finalist with Liverpool. Van Heck. to Sarmiento. Clever feet, looks to get him out of trouble, but it's just a touch too many from Sarmiento. Clark heads down. Here's Undav. He'll strike from distance and he'll find the back of the net. But he wasn't happy with his performance against Union Saint-Gilloise. He might be happy with this one. Striking home past Danny Figuera to find the bottom corner. And it's 4-1 Brighton Hove Albion. The German forward that netted 25 goals last season has netted his first of this pre-season, tucking it past Figuera and into the bottom corner. And I mentioned that Denis Undav and Kaoru Mitoma felt like new signings. Both those players have scored in this one. Here's Enciso. Can he make it a third goal from a newcomer? Adam Lallana looking for Sarmiento. Ferguson gets a toe on it. Lallana's got it back for the Albion. Van Heck and Enciso screaming for it. 25 yards from goal. Twisting this way, then that. Everyone wants in on the act now for the Albion. Good touch from Clark. And Albion will just go home to Kel Sherpen. Mentioned Undav feeling like a new signing. Of course, did sign in January, went straight on loan to Union Saint-Gilloise. Scored 25 goals in 33 games, 42 in 59 total during his time with the Belgian side. Belgian FA Player of the Year, and now looking to make his mark in England. Van Heck. Mitoma. Keeps the ball within his grasp. Rolled back to Clark. Alzate stepping away from pressure. And Enciso steps around one challenge, steps around two, looking again for the byline. Corner kick, Brighton Hove Albion coming up from the right wing. Time ticking down here in Portugal. Graham Potter, you have to think, will be thoroughly impressed from what he's seen from his side. And Enciso's planted the ball down for the corner kick. Already has one assist this afternoon. Delivery looks good, right on the penalty area. Cleared away by Estoril. Duffy's lurking at the edge of the box. Lallana's picked it back up. Undav's cross finds Duffy. Knocked down to Evan Ferguson, who tried to take it first time and just hit it with the outside of his boot towards that bottom corner. Instead sends it wide. Clever from Duffy to head it down. Ferguson never really troubling Figuera in the end. Made his Premier League debut in that 3-0 loss to Burnley towards the tail end of last season, Ferguson. But before his first team involvement, he was ripping apart the Premier League too with the under-23s. Has to be said, after his involvement with the first team increased, his goal-scoring exploit with the under-23s fell off slightly, but as is to be expected, with the added pressures of playing with the first team. A Republic of Ireland under-21 international, age 16, playing 5 years above his age group. Alzate to Mitoma. Clever touch from Enciso, and he's just pulled back by Thiago Araujo, who's finding Julio Enciso hard to live with at the moment. Paraguayan with another really positive run out for the Albion. Signed from Libertad on the 17th of June. Plenty wanted his signature. The Albion were the team to capture it. As time ticks down, apologies once more for missing those opening 2 Neil Maupay goals. Technical difficulties plagued the opening 15 minutes of this game, but thank you for sticking with us here on My Albion TV as we head towards an Albion victory here in the first game of their Portuguese training camp. Three minutes we'll have added on at the end of this second half. And Ciso brings it down. Ferguson inside of him. Just checks off Ferguson. This time he does roll it into the Irishman. Van Heck pulling wide from centre-back. Alzati. Plenty of yellow shirts between him and the Estoril goal. Clark. Mitoma. Clark's carried on his run. Undav. Good football from the Albion, but it just breaks down. Ferguson. Sarmiento. Chance here for Estoril to break. To Suan. Bringing it forward. Benchamal. Past Van Heck to the byline, looking for a cross, squared back across goal. Clark clears away, Tituan hits it. Blocked again that time by Duffy. And the Albion holding firm. Van Heck. Back to Sherpen. Rolled along the face of goal to Matt Clark. Not the safest of balls from Kel Sherpen, but the Seagulls keep it. Mitoma. And that will do it here in Portugal. A brace from Neil Maupay opened the scoring for the Albion. Rodrigo Martins pulled one back. But then an eye-raising couple of goals from Kauro Mitoma and Dennis Undav, players on loan with Union Saint-Gilloise last year, made it 4-1 to Brighton Hove Albion. Pre-season preparations in full swing. A comfortable, composed, clinical performance from Graham Potter's side. One more time, your final score, Brighton Hove Albion 4, Estoril Praia 1. Here's the goal which got the game started. Laurent Rogier with a horrendous error, squaring it straight to Neil Maupay, who had the simplest of finishes. Midfielder just switched off for a moment. Maupay there to take advantage. It was Kukureya's first-time delivery which created the second ball, headed back across the area, and Maupay flinging himself at it to make it 2-0 to the Albion very early on in this one. Good to see 2 goals in the legs of last season's top scorer, Neil Maupay. A moment for Sanchez to forget, allowed Rodrigo Martins to make it 2-1. But that was really the only Estoril's real chance of the entire game. Sherpen sent a long ball forward. Ferguson jumped for the header. Undav drilled the ball out wide to Julio and Ciso. And from then on, it was all about the Paraguayan. Got his head up, drove towards the byline, and Mitoma only had to tap home at the back post. What an introduction it's been to the Albion for Julio and Ciso, and that man, Mitoma. Good movement from Mitoma, just to steal behind Estevez as well in the 6-yard box. And the man that's returned from his loan at Union Saint-Gilloise, Undav, would find himself on the score sheet as well, drilling it into the bottom left-hand corner from 25 yards. Good instincts to shift it out his feet and drive it with the laces. past the outstretched arms of Danny Figueira, who had a busy afternoon in the Magico's goal.
Match day, nothing actually beats being there. The shirts, the scarves, the game of two halves, the smells, the sounds. Why you let it bounce? Goals bottom corner, all in the top bins, unstoppable headers, the last minute limbs.
It's the late show again from the Seagulls.
VAR and rules that are weird.
A team like Brighton.
And Graham's beard. Pascal's turns, massive hair. Big Rob saves, Trossard's flair. McAllister's flicks, mobile ticks, Lamptey's tricks.
You just can't get hold of him, can you?
And bicycle kick.
Oh, they've done it!
One of our own, Tony Bloom's Skoda, that guy Welbs, and of course, Jakob Moda.
He's done it again! Neil Mopey!
Match days, you love to see it.